Ons sal alright wees.
Nommer is your classic voyeur thriller. You know, we put our little twist on it where we've got our protagonist not being that innocent in the first place. So we've got Randall Hendricks. He's a recent paraplegic who's also lying to his girlfriend about the fact that he owes money to a loan shark.
He gets a set of binoculars that kind of help him to kind of pass time as he's stuck in this apartment. And you know, although initially it was just to help him pass time, he starts to see the world unravel around him, and as it does, he sort of starts to see opportunity, which could ultimately lead to a solution for the kind of desperate situation he's in.
When he witnesses murder of a corrupt policeman, he decides to blackmail the gangster instead of calling the police. And then from there, everything just goes wrong.
Lawyer.
Wie is dit?
Ik weet wat jy gedoen het met my gatta.
Dit joke.
He can't go out and take what he wants, so he needs someone to do it for him. And he comes up with a plan to get certain amounts of money that will get him out of this godforsaken place that he finds himself in. And he teams up with his friend Warren, and together they try and get the gold.
Hoeveel soek jy?
100,000.
It's not a new idea. You know, you've got Hitchcocks who've done it. You know, you've got more contemporary films that have done it. The idea of us getting a look at our neighbors, and you don't really know your neighbors and what they're up to. So it's interesting in that that's something that people know. But for me, I've never seen it in this context, and I've especially never seen it with a protagonist who himself is actually a bit of a criminal.
Ek hoop sy weet wat sy doen met die gangsters. Net 'n man. Die banke mis iets.
Randall's character is quite interesting because he is flirting on the wrong side of the law as we meet him. And we know he's a petty criminal, yet you always sympathize for him because his actions are noble in his ambitions. It's sort of always that just one last job, I just want to get away from this.
Baie mense sal hom judge om te sê hoekom doen jy dit, maar hy doen dit omdat hy is 'n moeilikheid, baie groot moeilikheid. En hy moet homself uit die moeilikheid bring.
Bet dit. Want oud sy nog eie geselsie. Die Airbnb-delaar kan nog altyd sy ander been verloor.
Although he's trying to take all these shortcuts and he's trying to get a payday, you understand his circumstances. For Randall, he doesn't see that there's another way. He's stuck in a place that he's never wanted to be stuck in for the rest of his life. He's always wanted more. He dreams about more. And I think that's why the world itself is so important in this film, is because it's not a world that's been kind to him. And now he's on the fringes of even that world.
Met Randall, daar is 'n manier vir hom om te gaan sit en dwel oor sy situasie nie. Hy moet iets doen. So daai depressie, daai internal wêreld van hom van depressie is baie gou weg. Baie gou weg, want mense soek hulle geld en hy skuld mense geld wat sy lewe sal vat vir die geld.
Ons gaan dit nie doen nie.
Ek het 'n plan.
Dis 'n soort van jou laaste plan.
Ek dink in die hart van die film is definitief desperaatheid om te survive. Almal in die storie, veral Pam, vir my is in 'n situasie waar sy haarself nie kan uitkry nie because of poverty.
Ek het 'n kwaai deel gehad, Pam. Ek het net iemand sê geld nodig gehad om te laat werk. Ek was au. Dit is alles gesorteerd vir life. Sy nie moeg van so lewe nie.
Pam is one of my favorite characters because she is the closest thing to innocent in this film. She is the light in this film, and she's a light in Randall's life, and for him, he needs her so much because he knows that without her, he would become like anyone else there. And Pam almost becomes the sacrificial lamb in the film.
As Pam nie deel gewees het van sy lewe nie, dan was hy nou heeltemal, hy sou dood gewees het, dink ek. Hy sou dood gewees het, want hy sou net gespiral het, out of control.
Ek kyk hier.
Check maar kyk. Welkom thuis, babe.
Ek voel sy het nie regtig iemand anders behalwe Randall nie. So hy is haar familie, hy is haar huis en Randall is bietjie donker. So hy vang 'n klomp donsens aan, hy steel, hy is besig met dwelmgoed en sy probeer ook om vir Randall uit die donkerte uit te kry. So waar Randall donker is Pam byvoorbeeld sy lig.
The lightness of the film is a very interesting thing that I had to work on because there isn't a lot of light in this film. And so what I tried to do was capture this relationship between Pam and Randall and sort of try to put a spotlight on that amongst all the craziness that is taking place in this film, all the danger and suspense. Give this little a safe space for them, for their love and their connection, and that's something I try to focus on. So I tried to write a very simple motif, a love theme, if you will, for them, that even in these times of heightened danger, we could go back to that and sort of focus not on the danger looming, but focus on the emotional connection that they have.
First, when I met with Nosipho, she spoke about the mood that she wants to create, and we kind of came up with this idea of creating a claustrophobic feel around Randall, kind of putting the audience in his perspective of what he's going through, him being entrapped in a wheelchair within a very small apartment, not being able to get out, being on the 3rd or 4th floor. Kind of really like put him in a position where he can't really do much.
We had to really pay attention to Randall being imprisoned by his environment, not only in the flat, but just also in his circumstance. So from an edit point of view, we had to try and sort of create this claustrophobia and the sense of monotony in a way of him just being at the window, observing everything that's taking place in the courtyard around him. But then also sort of finding that balance between knowing this is a thriller and we need to really drive that pace up. So you'll find that the film really just sort of almost crescendos right at the end with twists and turns. And you effectively can't trust anyone in this film.
Wat ek gehou het van Nosipho is die soort regisseur of directeur wat na jou toe kom, dan fluister sy in jou oor. Ek het dit geloof. You get insensitive directors that will stand and belt a note to you. Everybody knows now what the note is. But Nosipho to a sense it a personal touch gehad, where it was you and her trying to get to a certain place for this scene.
It's always a challenge to find universal stories, that can appeal to the largest audiences, but are also really well written. And from my point of view as a producer, there's always a challenge in being able to, make great stories, tell great stories, with the kind of limited resources we have. And there's issues of scale and scope in this particular script and story that really lent itself to being able to be told in a compelling way. So I think, having also been through the journey from the birth of the script and its kind of long journey through a short film and into ultimately this feature film, it's been a project that I've been passionate about ever since first stumbling upon the idea.
Making Nommer has been a really interesting journey. The concept of it was always a feature film, and then we kind of decided to make it a short film as proof of concept for the Silver Scam Fierce, Cakenet Silver Scam Fierce a few years ago.
And later on, that short film went on to, participate in the Independent Mzansi Short Film Festival, where it was also nominated in every category and, took away, I believe it was 7 awards. And then that, led to more sort of coverage on the short film, and it ended up traveling in 29 countries around Europe and ultimately won the Best Short Film SAFTA in 2016.
For us, it was proof that, okay, cool, we could actually make this contained thriller and pull it off and keep people engaged for quite a while. So we then decided right afterwards, when it started picking up and winning awards, that, okay, great, let's start working on the feature film.
We always had the ambition of making the full feature-length film from the short, and I think that was sort of one of the challenges when we made the short, is we were trying to sort of compact so much information and story into such a short amount of time. And actually, the overwhelming feedback that we got at Silver Scam when we showed the short was that people wanted to see a feature.
Op 'n feature jy kan 'n bietjie meer invest, jy kan 'n bietjie meer indulge in die karakter, want as tyd. En toe ek die volle feature gelees het, nou die hele groot storie gelees het, was nogal baie cool om te sien hoeveel karakters hulle bygesit het en hoe die karakters saam in die storie werk en meng. En I think die feature het net vir Randall meer en meer geleie. En dit was nogal lekker om te indulge in hierdie karakter.
It's been a really, really interesting journey to see something that started off as an idea, then became a short film, and to see it now becoming this fully fleshed out story with interesting characters. And see the vision come to life.
I really hope that audiences sort of go out to see this on the big screen. I mean, I think it's a first for South African cinema, just in terms of sort of the thriller genre.
It's a thriller from the beginning to end, and jy gaan verloor as jy net die movie kyk. Nommer 37, kyk dit 2018.
Welkom thuis, babe.
Hulle expect man om hier te bly. Ek wil hier uitkom op enige wy wat ek kan. Loya. Wie is dit? Ek weet wat sy gedoen het met my gatta. 4 mense in 'n kamer. Een is sat. Hoe jy die seker tussen die ander ding, ja?
Is my kroon.
Wat het jy gedoen, Randall?
Randall, man. Ek sê my, een dag is al wat ek vir hom wil, maar net een.